What is up, guys? DPX here. Welcome back to another TV review. Today I am reviewing a show I was very much looking forward to for a while. I'll get into that. But Avatar The Last Airbender, the live-action Netflix adaptation. Now before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the video, hit the bell, leave a comment, or I will wipe your entire... that kind of insinuates genocide. So, Avatar The Last Airbender is perhaps my favorite show ever. And the funny thing is, like, I didn't really grow up with it. I watched it, like, a few years ago when it dropped on Netflix. So, I'm kind of new-ish. I'm not, you know, it was back during, like, the pandemic where I binged it. But it became my favorite show ever. And basically, ever since then, I've been starving for new Avatar content, you know. I knew this was in the works, but then also, like, they also revealed that they're doing the Avatar Studios thing, and they're making a whole bunch of new Avatar content. You know, there's the movie, there's the series that takes place, that follows Aang and the crew when in their 20s. There's the next Avatar's series. But about the Netflix series, there were some concerns going in because, you know, obviously Avatar has been adapted into live action before, and we don't talk about that. Similarly, basically any other Avatar content we've gotten since the animated series, original series, aside from Legend of Korra, that show has its detractors, but I kind of like that show. But everything else, every other Avatar media, and the books as well, but other than that, like any game, the movie, any of that, have all kind of sucked. And then the creators of the original show left this project, and then there was more and more stuff coming out about this show that just did not make it sound good, even if I think some of that stuff was kind of blown out of proportion. What do I think of it? I don't hate it. And keep in mind, this is someone who went into it with an open eye, you know. I did not completely just convince myself that it is going to be dog shit going in, like a lot of people did. I didn't even like the stuff about how Sokka's sexism isn't gonna be like that. He's not gonna be as sexist in this show. You know, it was a little bit like, you know, that was an arc he went on in the original, but they were moving it. But I didn't really like notice it that much, or I wouldn't have had it like not been a thing. Stuff like that I didn't really let bother me. I will say some stuff I liked. I think they nailed the casting, which should kind of be a necessity to not whitewash your entire cast, basically. But they got characters, like, they got the right cast. They got every nation, every, you know, tribe, kingdom, you know, all that. They all have the correct, you know, ethnicities, races, you know, and I think that, like, they all look great, and the voices are nailed down. Like, the kid who plays Sokka nails the voice. The guy who plays Boomy nails the voice. The standout, especially, is the kid who plays Aang. I don't really remember his name. All their names don't really... All of their names are, like, hard to remember, like, Chinese names. So, my apologies. I'm just gonna refer to them as their characters. But, yeah, the kid who plays Aang does a great job. I will also say the show looks amazing, you know. It doesn't look as cheap as many people made it out to be. Obviously, there is some wonky CG in there, but overall, I think visually, it looks great. I do have issues, though, and it's not like I just listed all the good stuff, and now I have a whole bunch of bad stuff. It's more like even, if you know what I mean. But ultimately, and I don't just want to compare this to the original, you know, because while it is an adaptation, you do kind of have to look at it on its own merit, you know, even though it is an adaptation, so you do have to factor that in. As this isn't really a remake, you know, this isn't like a beat-to-beat remake of the animated series. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a beat-to-beat remake. You know, if you're gonna adapt it, maybe change some things up, you know. But it's a retelling, is what I'd call it. It's almost like Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know what I mean? But the thing is, they have 8 episodes in this This one season at least. Each season of the animated series was 20 episodes. I think season 3 was 21. But they took 20 episodes and crammed them into 8. And the way you do that, there's some filler episodes, there's some side adventures that they didn't really touch on, we don't have, the Great Divide is not here, the episode that's unanimously considered, the worst episode of Avatar. There's the episode with, the Earthbenders that were, captured and were suppressed. I forget which one that one was called, but, that's not in here. But the thing is, there's still more than 8 episodes from the original series that were kind of integral to the plot of the show. So the first episode in particular, they take the first 3 episodes of the original series and kind of just cram them into one episode. I understand, I like some of the different stuff they tried to do, this isn't a spoiler, this was revealed, I saw there was a headline about this. They actually put the Air Nomad genocide at the beginning of episode 1, which I thought was interesting, and how they also had Aang leave the Air Nomads and to have him, frozen. That's a little different than it was in the animated series, but I think it worked. But there are so many times where it feels rushed. This feels like a very rushed version of the first season of the animated series. And there are many times where characters are giving monologues and it's just exposition. A conversation is just exposition and it's not really that interesting. And also, there's a rule, show don't tell. And I don't want to keep comparing this to the original, but the original knew that. The original knew show don't tell, which is why it showed a lot. And if there was a backstory, if someone was explaining a backstory, they would do it over a flashback sequence. We don't really get that here. We get some exposition, we get some lore, we get some backstory, but it's always just said, you know what I mean? But because I feel like the show doesn't have enough time to really breathe, to help with the fact that it's 8 episodes, Aang doesn't go on his side adventures, which I mentioned that already, but that means he also doesn't really have any fun. He doesn't have, in this animated series, he had a lot of fun, which kind of fleshed him out a bit, added depth and made him a bit more of a goofy kid that, he goes through an arc to become, the savior of the world. In this, he doesn't go on those fun little adventures, so he's just serious the whole time. There are some stuff I still like, for example, they made the show, a bit darker, and not in they said they're trying to appeal to Game of Thrones fans, and I didn't see that when I was watching this. I don't know what the fuck they were talking about. But there are certain times where, characters die, and you can just see, like a firebender just incinerating, another character, you know what I mean? The characters don't really seem to know each other that well. We have, one thing I really liked in the animated series was the bond between Avatar. I just called him Avatar. The bond between Aang, Katara, and Sokka. And it seemed like at first we're planting the seeds for them to bond, but throughout the season, they don't really. It doesn't feel like they're family. Katara once says, Aang, you're my family, and it's really? Because it didn't feel like that. That's the I understand Avatar The Last Airbender, the animated series, was, it was a Nickelodeon kids show that was serialized, that went on week to week on network television, basically. So, you needed a lot more episodes. Making a 20-episode long season to a Netflix show where all the episodes drop on one day, in 2024, no less, would be a bit odd. So I get that, but I feel like maybe they could have split season 1 into 2, or they could have added a few more episodes. Maybe not 20, but maybe you could add maybe 4 more, make this be like 10 episodes or 12 episodes. I don't know. Regardless, though, Avatar The Last Airbender, Netflix, I don't know what I'm going to refer to it as, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. You know, it was never like, just let this be over. You know, I had fun with it, and there were moments that did touch me. You know, there were like different takes on certain moments, emotional moments from the animated series, and I liked them. You know, they didn't fuck with them that badly. But if you haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender and you want to you just want to watch now, go watch the animated series. It is so much better. And maybe like you can watch this thinking of it as like a alternate reality, basically, you know. Despite that, I am hoping like it gets greenlit for a season 2, because I do want to see, you know, how the rest of the series plays out like this, you know what I mean? In the end, I'm going to give Avatar The Last Airbender on Netflix a 7 out of 10. That's my review of Avatar The Last Airbender on Netflix. What do you guys think of it? Do you guys like it, not like it? Have you guys seen it, not seen it? And if you haven't seen it, do you guys want to see it, not want to see it? Anything about the show, let me know down below. Anyways, be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, or I will wipe out an entire nation that you'll be a part of. That's what I was trying to say earlier.